Hello guys, this is Mike from McProgramming.org. I had a question on my discussion board about what is the benefits of polymorphism. And I wanted to answer that for everybody because I think that's a pretty valid question and showing you what you can do with polymorphic objects. So here I made a Java project right here and got a little default package. I'm not worried about naming it for right now. I'll just say new class. I'm going to make two classes. I'm going to have one called vehicle because I think that's what I used in my example. Finish. And I'm going to have a new class called car, and that's going to extend the vehicle class. So the vehicle class will be the parent or the super class. As you can tell here, you can actually set it and you're creating a new Java class in Eclipse, which is pretty useful. You can say finish and notice that it automatically puts in extends vehicle right there. And let's make a class where we can just hold the main method. So class, and I'll just say polymorphic main. And also you can set right here to add the public static void main method. So finish, and get rid of that. And let's create a method in each one of these. I'm going to give it a private string name equals vehicle. And under that, I'm going to give it one method, public void print name. Okay, and we're just going to sys out, and then you can say control space. That's a good shortcut in Eclipse. That'll save you a lot of time. And inside here, we'll pass in the variable name. So that would just be printing out vehicle. All right. And in car, what we can do is we can say private string name equals car, and we can give it the method public void print car. And we will do a sys out, control space, pass in name. Alright, there we go. So let's go over here to our main method, and we're going to create three objects. The first one is going to have the reference type vehicle. We'll say v1 equals new vehicle. Alright, so that's pretty straightforward. That's just creating an object of type vehicle. And now what we're going to do is a polymorphic creation. Vehicle will be the reference type. We're going to give it the reference variable v2, but we're going to say new car. And if you've watched the video I did on polymorphism, you will know exactly what that does, and I'll explain it a little bit in just a second. Let me finish this car. I'll just say c1 equals new car, and that is another example of just a straight, easy, straightforward object. And let's see what happens if I wanted to create a car from and say new vehicle. This is going to cause a couple problems, and it's not good practice. What we'd have to do is cast that to car like so, and we don't want to do that. There's easier ways to get around that, such as just creating a car equals new car. So let's see what methods are available when we say v1 dot, we get print name. Alright, and I think, yeah, I gave print name in the vehicle class. I meant to say print vehicle, but you get print name, which is from the vehicle class, and that's understandable because it's a vehicle. If I have the reference type vehicle and we instantiated a new car, let's see what methods are available to us. v2 dot, and we get print name again, and see that that is from the vehicle class. And all these other methods are extended from the object class because every class extends the object class. So the only special one we have is the print name. And now if we say c1 dot, we get print car and we get print name. So let's just do print car, and let's just run that. And this is pretty much an overview of the tutorial I already did. But now, what is the benefit of making polymorphism or polymorphic objects? Alright, so let's say that we needed to make a list or something that holds a bunch of objects, and we needed a data type, and these are all related because one extends the other, and we can also have other classes that extend it further and further down, so we could have a pretty long hierarchy. But we want to put all of these related objects into one. I'm going to use an array list as an example, so we could put it in an array list. We can even put it in an array. So let's make an array list. So we're going to say array list, and inside of here we need to put the data type that we want to put. If I put car as the data type, and I'm going to say, call it my list equals new array list, and I'm going to put in car again and empty parameter, and we need to import array list. So you can either hover over it and say import array list, or you can say Control O. I think that's what it is, or maybe Control Shift O is the shortcut. But now if I want to say my list dot add a car, the only option I can do is C1. So if I even wrote B1, we're going to get an error. And it's going to say the method add car and the type array list with car is not applicable for the arguments of the vehicle type. So the way we can change this now is we can put the highest most thing on the hierarchy, which is a vehicle. So let's say vehicle, and over here we also need to give it the type vehicle. So now what we can do is say my list dot add, and alright, well, it didn't give us it automatically, but let's just say we can put v1, which should work because it is a vehicle. Now let's see if we can add this polymorphic item dot add vehicle. See, we have v2, and now we can also say my list dot add c1. So even though car is a reference type as a car and the object we created was a car, so now we can add that into an array list that holds vehicle objects, but because the car extends from the vehicle, we can put that in there as well as any of the polymorphic things. And we can also make just a plain array, and the syntax for that would be we need to say the data type first, so we'll say vehicle, and then we'll have these square brackets, and I'll just say v array equals new vehicle, and we'll just set some default size. I'll just say 3, and we could do the same thing. So we could say v array 0 equals outside of there equals v1. And let's copy and paste that so I can make this a little quicker. And we can say index 1 would be v2 and index 2 would be c1. So notice there was no errors thrown, so that is perfectly valid. So the last thing I want to show you about benefits of polymorphism is if I wanted to have some type of method, I'm going to have to say, at least in this main method, this main class, I'm just going to say public static void. The reason I'm saying static is because I don't want to create a polymorphic main type. So I'm just going to say public static void, and I'm going to just say add items, right? And in that add items parameter, I want to pass in things. So if I specifically said I want to pass in things of type car and just say C, open that up. So I'm not really going to have any functionality in here. I'll just say system.out.println, I will say C plus has been added. Okay, I'm not really adding it to anything, but let's call this method up here. I'm going to say add items, and I can only pass in a car. Well, what happens if I say v1? Okay, there's an error. Let's see what the error says. It says change method to add items car to add items vehicle, and that is our best bet. So the same thing with putting the highest in the hierarchy here is now we can add, let's change that to just v. So now we can say system.out.println v, and that will be able to print out a vehicle. But let's see if we can pass in the polymorphism version v2. So let's say v2, perfectly valid, and let's see if we can pass in just a straight car object, and that is perfectly valid as well. So I'll just run that to show you that I don't have a toString, so it's giving me that weird object like that. So it just says car has been added. So that is basically a couple things you can do to benefit your programming with polymorphism. Alright, I hope you guys enjoyed. Please subscribe below and give it a thumbs up if you like this video. Thank you guys.